A massive fire at an oil depot near the Black Sea resort of Sochi has been blamed by Russia on a Ukrainian drone attack. It was one of a series of strikes on Russian military infrastructure this weekend.
And a Ukrainian drone attack has damaged a power line and sparked a fire at a railway station building in Russia's southern region of Volgograd overnight.
I want to express my gratitude for our special long-range operations on Russian territory. Their impact is significant, and each of them is tangible for the enemy, and our operations will continue.
At exactly 2:47 a.m. on a humid July night, the mission began. Somewhere far from the Black Sea coast, at a concealed launch site deep within Ukrainian-controlled territory, technicians huddled around a row of sleek, battle-scarred machines. These were not ordinary drones. They were long-range predators, modified with extended fuel tanks, lightweight carbon fiber frames, and cutting-edge guidance systems, each meticulously prepared for a single purpose: to penetrate deep into Russian territory and strike at one of its most critical assets. Their target was the Sochi oil depot, a vital node in Russia's energy infrastructure and a lifeline for its military logistics. One by one, the drones lifted into the night sky, their engines whispering as they disappeared into the darkness. The mission was bold and dangerous, but Ukraine's drone warfare had evolved into a story of precision, ingenuity, and relentless innovation, a high-stakes contest rewriting the rules of modern conflict.
Russia is dragging out the war, so it will receive just responses.
Sochi, a prominent Black Sea city known more for its Olympic glory than military vulnerability, was about to become a symbol of how asymmetric warfare can humble even the mightiest adversary. As the drones approached Russian airspace, they followed meticulously pre-programmed flight paths that skirted radar zones, hugged valleys, and even mimicked natural ground clutter to remain undetected. Decoy drones, intentionally less stealthy, flew in parallel to trigger Russian air defenses, forcing the enemy to waste precious interceptor missiles on expendable targets. Russian radar stations lit up as their screens swarmed with blips, scrambling to identify which of the approaching craft were real threats. This was Ukraine's genius. Swarm tactics designed not just to strike, but to overwhelm. Despite Russia's claim that it destroyed 93 drones that night, the Ukrainian formation had only one goal: ensure at least one strike reached its target. And one did. In the early hours of dawn, a Ukrainian drone bypassed the final layer of defenses and slammed into a massive fuel tank. A blinding fireball ripped through the Sochi oil depot, sending shockwaves across the city. The flames roared skyward, casting an orange glow over the Black Sea as smoke billowed high into the atmosphere. The attack forced Sochi's airport to shut down, grounding flights and turning a strategic hub into a logistical nightmare for Russia. The cost of the drone? Around $20,000. The value of the damaged infrastructure? Billions. This stark imbalance was the core of Ukraine's evolving drone strategy. Low-cost, high-impact operations that could dismantle Russian capability from afar. It wasn't just destruction, it was a psychological blow, a reminder that no part of Russia was beyond reach. Over the weeks that followed, Ukrainian drones struck deep into Voronezh, Ryazan, Penza, and other strategic cities. These were not random targets. Each strike was aimed at military-industrial sites, oil depots, refineries, and supply depots, the logistical arteries of Russia's war machine. The message was clear. As long as the skies were open, Ukraine could bring the fight to the Russian heartland. But July was also the month when Russia answered with its own drone fury, and at an unprecedented scale. In the same month that Ukraine launched daring deep strike operations, Russia unleashed the largest drone assault since the war began, firing a staggering 6,297 long-range drones into Ukrainian skies. The attacks came in relentless waves, night after night, designed to break Ukraine's defenses through attrition and exhaustion. The skies above Kyiv, Odessa, and Dnipro became battlegrounds. Each night, the low, menacing buzz of propellers heralded the arrival of new swarms. Shahid kamikaze drones, imported in bulk from Iran, formed the backseating of these barrages. Crude but deadly, they dove toward infrastructure, power stations, and urban centers, their small size and erratic flight paths making them difficult to intercept. Alongside them came the Mohajer-6 drones, heavier and more sophisticated, capable of carrying precision-guided munitions and advanced optics. These drones didn't just crash into targets, they hunted them, adjusting mid-flight based on reconnaissance data and targeting coordinates. Russia's drone war was not just about firepower, it was about strategy and deception. Mixed into the waves were decoy drones, cheap shells programmed to mimic attack patterns, deliberately drawing out Ukraine's interceptor missiles. Overhead, reconnaissance drones loitered silently, marking Ukrainian radar positions, tracking air defense crews, and feeding real-time data to coordinate missile strikes that often followed within minutes. Each heavy barrage of drones was timed to coincide with missile salvos, forcing Ukrainian defenses to fight a two-front battle in the air. The effect on Ukraine's defenders was relentless pressure. Anti-aircraft batteries fired night after night, interceptors arced into the darkness, and exhausted crews rotated through near-continuous shifts. The skies over major cities became a constant spectacle. Explosions, tracer fire, and the dull roar of distant impacts. Every intercepted drone was a small victory, but Russia's sheer numbers meant even a small percentage of drones breaking through could inflict significant damage. Russia's ability to sustain such massive attacks came from its deepening partnership with Iran. In late 2024, Moscow publicly called Tehran an important partner, and the Shahed drones became the workhorse of Russia's long-range strikes. The Mohajer-6 added a precision dimension that kept Ukrainian commanders guessing which targets would be hit. For Ukraine, each night's defense was a mix of skill, strategy, and survival. But Ukraine was not standing still. The experience of July only accelerated its push to expand its own drone fleet. Already the world's largest arms importer from 2020 to 2024, Ukraine began buying millions of drones from domestic manufacturers, adapting them for everything from reconnaissance to deep strike missions. The war had become, in many ways, a drone duel, each side racing to outpace the other in numbers, capabilities, and tactics. The battles of July showed how unmanned aerial warfare has redefined modern combat. Ukraine's deep strikes into Russian territory demonstrated that small, agile, and low-cost drones could cripple strategic assets from hundreds of kilometers away. Russia's massive swarms revealed the raw, destructive power of sustained, high-volume attacks. In both cases, drones became not just tools of war, but strategic weapons shaping the course of the conflict. The duel in the skies was more than a contest of machines. It was a battle of engineering, intelligence, and endurance. Ukraine's swarm tactics against Russia's Sochi defenses proved that precision could defeat scale if properly executed. Russia's record-breaking July barrages showed that overwhelming force, combined with deception, could stretch even the most resilient defense systems to their limits. As the month ended, both nations had inflicted significant damage through their drone campaigns, but neither had secured decisive dominance. What was clear, however, was that the war had entered a new phase, one where the silent hum of approaching drones had replaced the roar of jet engines as the dominant sound of the battlefield. In this new era, victory would belong not to the side with the largest army, but to the one that could adapt the fastest, strike the smartest, and control the skies through innovation and persistence.